Jared Vieira has had a deep impact on the lives around him. In what would be considered a small town in Southern California, he has had tremendous reach. More than 50% of those who attend the church he pastors consistently volunteer in the church or in the community. Over the years, he has helped raise an extraordinarily high percentage of leaders in both ministry and in business. He has the ability to see potential and is always inviting people to take the challenge of growing and being shaped into who God has designed them to be.
You're a leader, called to inspire others to be the same. You're called to experience the fullness of God's promises. You boldly face your fears. You chart your own path when you need to. When life knocks you down, you get back up one more time, every time. You're forever learning, increasing your capacity to be the best you. You're strong, resilient. You're not easily discouraged, and you're never defeated. You're rugged on the inside. But on the outside, you're identified as loving, gracious, consistent. You don't quit. This is your life, your portion. You're a leader, forged in the fire.
Hey everybody, this is Jared Vieira. Hey, listen, I just wanted to take a minute and just kind of front load this episode of the Blacksmith Order. We had a special guest planned. We recorded this earlier in the week, and we had a young man named Austin Chafin. Is a 16-year-old high school kid. He's a bull rider, just a accomplished athlete, and we just invited him in to share his story and his experience riding bulls, and you know his at one point, kind of towards the end of the podcast, he got a little vulnerable, and when we started asking about some obstacles and some weaknesses that he experiences, and so kind of took a turn that we weren't really expecting, but I'm extremely proud that he had the courage and the boldness to be honest and open, and so I hope you find his story a little encouraging, his transparency, his authenticity to inspire you. He's definitely an emerging leader. This young man is one of my son's heroes. Talks about Austin every day. Austin said this, and Austin did that, and do you think Austin did this? And my son is a little sheep rider at the practice arena, and definitely looks up to this young man, and so I hope you find today's podcast helpful, inspiring, especially for you young people. He's got some good stuff, some wisdom for a young 16-year-old, some stuff beyond his years, but then also I think just the honesty of a young man who also struggles too. We're calling this episode Broken Bones, Bad Habits. All right. Well, this is Jared Vieira. I am the host and the founder of the Blacksmith Order. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes and tuning in to this episode. I have a special treat. Tonight we have a guest with us. We have a 16-year-old Austin Chafin. Austin Chafin is definitely an emerging leader. 16 years old, and some of his credentials are pretty amazing. He is the Texas Junior Rodeo Association year-end champ. He is a two-time Youth World Finals qualifier. He is the 2017 Norco Fair champion and a two-time Alvarado Texas Junior Rodeo Association champion. And so welcome to the Blacksmith Order, Austin.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us. And Austin's got quite a story and quite an experience. When I was younger, I rode bulls a little bit and bareback horses, but I think at Austin's young age, he's definitely got more rides under his belt than I do. And so Austin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Well, started off as a little kid, getting on calves. I can't remember when I started. I was I was really young, but my dad would put me on calves, and he'd hold me by my belt loop and took off from there. You know, I started getting on steers and stuff like that. I didn't really junior rodeo until, you know, these past couple years because my dad was rodeoing, and, you know, I was living with my mom for a good portion of my life. So I never really got to junior rodeo that much, but I did get on, you know, at all the practices and stuff like that. And it made it more fun like that, though. It made it, you know, not as much competition, and, you know, we were just having fun, you know. Now that I'm rodeoing now, it seems like that fun that I was having before kind of made it easier to have fun now.
Okay. Now, Austin, being 16, what grade are you in right now?
Right now, I am a sophomore,
Okay.
and I'm doing homeschool. It's easier to rodeo like that. It's easier to go places, and
Gives you a little bit more freedom.
yeah.
Awesome. Now, how many rides do you think you've done in your whole riding career?
See, I couldn't count.
Yeah.
I couldn't count. 'Cause,
Stopped counting a long time ago, huh?
yeah.
Okay.
Been on a lot, though. A lot of calves, a lot of steers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now you won buckles in California. You won buckles in Texas. And
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Awesome. Covered a lot of ground. So as a young bull rider, you know, because I've done this, but for me it was, you know, I was more of an adult, and I really started hitting the road at 18 and traveling and experiencing a lot of things then, and so it was a lot different for an adult to do that kind of stuff. What's it like? What are some of the fears you face as a young man, you know, that is kind of an emerging leader and still kind of growing into this? What is that like?
One of the fears of being young and riding bulls, you know, is death. Because I don't feel like I've lived enough of my life yet to leave it. You know, I feel like there's so much I got to do still. But, you know, riding bulls is what I love, and I wouldn't have it another way.
Yeah, and they say it's definitely the most dangerous sport in the world. You know.
Yeah.
Any injuries?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was left with a crooked arm.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I broke ribs. I broke my left wrist, I think twice, and my right arm, I broke it 3 times in 2 years. Never let it heal.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely got a significant
Yeah.
curve to it.
Yeah. Shoot around corners pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So, what are some obstacles you face as a young guy? Because I think, like for me, again, I always look at it, and my perception is always what a young adult, you know, and maybe a young professional faces. What is a 16-year-old like? What are the obstacles you face? Because I have to, like, sometimes, you know, I hang around the practice pens a lot, and my son goes with me a lot of times. So we spend a lot of times around your family and around some of your friends and stuff, and a lot of kids your age. And sometimes I have to remind myself, like, no, these guys are just teenagers. Like, like, you're doing incredible things, performing incredible acts, you know, physically, and you know, it takes a lot of heart, and it takes a lot of risk, and you know, it's a dangerous thing, and I have to remind myself, like, man, these guys are just pups, you know, they're just youngsters, and you guys are barely growing mustaches and stuff, and you know, so tell me about some of the obstacles as a young man that you face in this sport. And
you know, inside the arena, you know, I feel like it's bad habits, you know, stuff that I've created for myself, you know, and another thing is in a slump. You know, one of the hardest things is to get out of a slump, because first you got to find out what you're doing that's wrong. And I realized that's kind of hard, because, you know, there's something that might feel, you know, good, or might feel easier, but then you realize it's a bad habit and it's not helping you none. But bull riding's definitely hard on you. You have to be in shape. Another thing is you have to want. You know, it's want. You have to want to. You know, you
can't halfway do this.
Yeah, you have to look. One thing I realized is you have to look in. You know, you have to look towards the future and see, you know, like, this is what, if I keep doing this, then I'll be there, you know.
Right.
Or if I keep working, then I'll win this. You know, it's want. You have to want to do it.
Sure.
But outside of the arena, I feel like, you know, it's staying out of trouble. You know, cause cause I mean, one thing is, you know, it's hard on me is like, you know, temptations. You know, like I'll be like, man, you know, that's not a good idea, but you know, it's like, oh, just do it. You know, just do it. It's like
Sure.
it's like that temptation. You know, and another thing is lying. You know, sometimes, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to get you out of trouble. But for me, the last thing I want is my parents disappointed in me, you know. The last thing I want is to feel like I let my family down. So, you know, I try to, you know, cover it up, or, you know, stuff like that. I don't want people mad at me because, you know, I feel like, you know, sometimes I already feel like, you know, you're not doing enough. You know, you got to do more. And then when somebody's mad at you, it's like, you know, you got to kind of put you back a little bit.
Sure.
Dang it. But, yeah.
So even a guy that's done tremendous things and achieved great, you know, accomplishments. I mean, some of these titles and some of these, you know, your credentials here, you know, you've been a lot of places and you've done a lot of things, and you know, but you still struggle with teenage stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
man, I just living the teenage life.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest lesson? You know, as a 16-year-old bull rider who has, you know, been on countless animals and been all over the United States doing this stuff, what would you say is, man, your biggest life lesson?
My biggest life lesson is, well, one of them is to never quit. Never quit. Because there was a time when I was riding bulls and I thought, man, you know, I'm not getting no better at this, you know, and I keep getting hurt. You know, I thought, well, you know, I might as well just give it up, try something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I don't know if it was the Lord that did it, but because I had so many, you know, I created bad habits right-handed on myself. You know, I did it to myself, and I feel like the Lord kind of put that obstacle, me breaking my arm, and I switched, started riding left-handed, and it was like a fresh start. You know, I got rid of those bad habits.
Yeah.
And, you know, I started over. But another one of my lessons is to be yourself. Because I realize, you know, you hear people say it all the time, be yourself, you know, do
Just
what
be
you,
you,
be you. You know, but for me, you know, it's different to me. Like what you like, you know, do what you want to do, you know, because, you know, a lot of people say stuff, you know, like, why do you wear vintage shirts or you know, tall crown hats, you know, or, you know, roach killers? Why do you do that? And I think about it, you know, that's just me. That's just what I like.
Now we got to stop and we got to explain what roach killers are.
Okay, okay. Roach killers is what
A lot of people don't know what roach killers are.
is what the cowboys of the cowboys, the type of boots they wore. Okay, square-toed boots. You know, I didn't see Lane Frost kicking them in square-toed boots. Okay, didn't see it. You know, I didn't see it because.
So you're talking about the roach killers are the pointy toe
Yeah.
boots that if there was a roach in the corner of your room,
you could kill that
You could
sucker.
squash that sucker, no problem, with
No
the tip
problem.
of your boot.
No
Okay.
problem.
Just so everybody knows, we can visualize.
Yeah.
And
And if you want to be a real cowhand, you put a pair of those on.
and the vintage shirt and the vintage hat from 1970s look
Yeah.
like Donnie Gay riding or
Oh
something.
yeah. Well, I feel like that's when the Cowboys were around. You know, you see a lot of, you know, just like a lot of the country music and the stuff people listen to now. You know, I think there's a difference between country music and cowboy music.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and
For sure.
you listen to cowboy music from back in the day. You know, it talks about how the men were, you know, what they did, and I feel
Work,
like,
family,
Yeah.
trying hard, fighting
feel
for what you
yeah.
believe in. Yeah.
and back then that's what they wore. You know, so you know,
No rhinestone pants.
nope,
Awesome.
nope, never.
All right. So what's going on currently, you know, in life? Your family's involved in a lot of things, and you guys are kind of expanding a lot in rodeo and
Yeah, we're rodeoing. We started. We owned our mini bulls. Well, we own our mini bull company, AK Bucking Bulls, and we're putting on mini bull ridings and stuff. Just kind of, helping bring back the future of bull riding.
Awesome.
It is a dying breed, but there's hope with them mini bulls, man. I tell you.
yeah, it's pretty cool to watch. Rodeo, especially in California, definitely is a dying breed.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see like a little bit of glimmer of hope. For the next generation of the sport. So
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting to be a part of. So what would you say to? With that being said, like what would you say to an emerging bull rider, to a youngster who is wanting to try, who wants to be, kind of the next generation professional athlete and bull rider?
Well, to the kids that want to be a bull rider, I'm telling you, you gotta have grit, and you have to, I know nobody lives, that perfect life where they're happy all the time. You have to take what makes you mad, and use it in the arena. You have to take, because I'm telling you, that hurt and that stuff that goes on in the arena, it's not there, when you're taking it out on your bulls, and it adds a little aggression to it, so don't go taking it out on everything else, use that in the arena, and, stay gritty,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many times you get bucked down or slammed, just keep on doing what you're doing. But to the youth, just to the youth in general, I say stay young, stay young, because people tell me, man, you need to grow up, you need to do this, man, you're gonna be an adult soon, and I realize, man, you see those adults that get home from work, they're like, God, hate my job, hate this, hate that, but like right now I'm just having fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I realize if I keep doing this my whole life, I'll have a pretty fun life, just staying young, but also be yourself, because I remember being in school, had the Spider-Man with the Velcros on, and people, I had the older kids, who wanted to, everybody to be like them, so if you'd be like, that's not cool, and I changed my style to be like them, and I realized that's not what I wanted, like, now that I think about it, I would have much rather had been me, and, more what I wanted to do, because what I was wearing, shoot, if I can go back now, I'd go back to rocking the Spider-Mans with the Velcros and and the Superman lunchbox, and because that was me when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
and I kind of
Didn't care what other people thought.
exactly,
about you. Yeah.
and I wish I would have kept doing that, because what other people think doesn't define who you are.
Right.
What other people think doesn't make you what you aim to be in the future.
Sure.
If you let them tell you, don't wear this, I look stupid, then that vision that you had for yourself in the future is gone. You're taking a piece of yourself away every time you do that.
Yeah. All right, Austin. Well, the final question. for the night.
Final question.
What would you say is a leader?
A leader. That's a tough one. Well, I'll tell you, come from a broken family at a young age. I couldn't, sit around and just pray. Oh man, family's gonna be back together. It's gonna be perfect. We're gonna do everything. We're gonna be like those people on the TVs. Stuff like that. No, it wasn't like that. I had to grow up quicker. I had to understand things quicker, and I understood that there are people who will tell you to do stuff. They'll tell you, do this, do that, and people think that's a leader, but really that's just somebody in charge. A leader is somebody who will give you orders, but who will also walk with you through that, who will show you how to do this. Somebody who wants to see you succeed and not fail. Somebody, because the way I think about it, not only is a football team or a crew, something like that, they're not just a chain. I feel like this whole you know, all of us in the bull riding community, everybody around, we're all a chain, you know. And so if you're breaking people down, you know, that's losing the link right there. You know, you have to be willing to help those people and to help them succeed, not just tell them what to do or how to do it. You know, you have to show them, you have to walk with them, and also bring them up. You know, tell them good things about them, you know. You know, because you want to see them succeed. You don't want to see them fail.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like a leader is.
All right. Well, Austin, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at YoungAC951. You can also find me on Facebook at Austin Chafin. And you can find the Mini Bulls on Instagram at AK Bucking Bulls. And see all our good videos of me falling off some and riding a couple occasionally. And yeah, once, you know, every time I get lucky, I'll ride one here once in a while. You know, but yeah, you know, just keep doing what you're doing out there, and don't let people bring you down. You know, stand for who you are. You know, you might, you know, it could be family, it could be friends. You know, don't let them bring you down. Be who you are. You know, independent.
Be you. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, thanks, Austin. It's great to have
no
you
problem.
out. Well, this is Jared Vieira. This has been the Blacksmith Order. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this with your friends. Follow us on Instagram, The Blacksmith Order, and also on Facebook, The Blacksmith Order. And you can share our website, theblacksmithorder.com.
And you can also find my rhymes, my
Oh,
rap,
yeah?
my bull riding rap songs on SoundCloud, Young AC, or just put in Austin Chafin. You'll see my rap songs. I've been trying to rap a little bit.
It is pretty good, I have to tell you.
Yeah, because there's not too many people making music about bull riding.
That's for sure. You know, I've listened to a couple of the guys that are out there, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
But I do have to say, when you combine bull rider, young white kid, you know,
Yeah.
from a small town,
Yeah.
country town, and those don't always equal hip hop.
No,
and
no.
And I have to tell you, I'm pretty talented.
Just doing
Pretty
me, man.
talented.
Just doing me.
Proud of you, man. All right. Well, that's it for the Blacksmith Order. We'll see you next time.